Okay, just thought I'd give my quick thoughts on the Terminator trailer for MK11 because I've been asked by one person already on Twitter what I think about it, and I know it's going to happen a lot more until I explain what I think. And I think making a video about it is probably the better way to go because then more people will see it, since not a lot of people follow me on Twitter, at least compared to my subscriber count, so this just makes more sense. Plus, I can put ads on this, make a bit of dosh. Let's get into it. First off, you see Terminator coming in with his old man Arnold look. I'm not sure if that's how he looks in Dark Fate, I assume so, but he definitely looks a lot like he did in Genesis. But I assume this is how he looks in Dark Fate because why else would this be the default and not T2? I mean, come on. And he best have a T2 skin. They would be bonkers to not give him one. That'd be the best. Oh, he also needs those star sunglasses from T3. That'd be great. So the intro we see is that Guns N' Roses moment, only instead of roses, it's Johnny Cage action figures, which is a nice touch. And then he starts speaking, and there are two issues. One is the fact that he doesn't sound anything like Arnold. Like, it's not even really an impersonation or anything. It just sounds like some random Austrian dude. And this would be fine in most other cases, but because he's so photorealistic and looks just like Arnie, he is Arnold's exact face, it just looks off. I'm sure that it must be the same kind of situation for people who know the models who provided the faces for the rest of the cast, and then hear various voice actors like Steve Bloom and Ronda Rousey coming out of their faces. It must be weird and surreal. That's an issue they can't really get around because, well, Arnold isn't doing the voice. I guess maybe he would have charged too much or just wasn't interested, but unfortunately they didn't get someone who sounded enough like him for it to really work. And also, going off the intro we hear where he says that Jax is also a cyborg, because apparently the T-800 is a cyborg? Pretty sure he's just a robot with like flesh over him. I guess technically that qualifies as a cyborg, but I've never really thought about it that way. I kind of just saw it as a robot. I'd honestly say Jax counts more as a cyborg with his metal arms. It's not a criticism or anything, but I do think I recall that one being in the leaked intro dialogues that I read a while ago, which means that we're in for a bad time where the vast majority of the intros are just references to various Arnold movies. Like one where Jackie Briggs insists, "Your neck is very thick." It is not thick. Yeah, but it is though. It's not a tumor. Really. That's the kind of shit we're going to be getting with these intros. It's really bad. Some people might like that, but I think it's a bit too forced. As for the gameplay that we see, we get quite a lot of it. I think overall he looks a bit too much like Jax. Honestly, it looks like he plays a lot like Jax does. I have actually seen him a bit in-game because NetherRealm, the fuck-ups that they are, ended up accidentally releasing the Terminator Assist for the towers with the update that came out on Monday. So you actually get to see 4 different moves that he has, and there's a walking forward with a shotgun one, and then 2 jumping forward attacks, and one that's a weird combo that looks a bit too fluid for the robotic Terminator. In a weird way, NetherRealm's shitty animations from the past games would honestly work a lot better with Terminator than something more natural looking, because he's a fucking robot. He's supposed to look unnatural in his movement. We do get to see quite a bit of the T-800 skeleton inside though, with the close-ups and the crushing blows showing it off, and one of his moves is a Jason-esque resurrection where he just gets up as the skeleton. It's like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then the victory pose we see is him walking into the flames and coming out as a skeleton. We also get to see that he has a fucking teleport. Yeah, the Terminator has a goddamn teleport. This next part is a joke, by the way, but it kind of gives off the impression that the dreaded theory that the ending will tie Skynet to the Link Way is going to be real. I mean, he's basically playing like Sector already, haha. He also has a move with just no-cells projectiles. Then he has some wrestling moves and a bunch of very futuristic looking grenades. I don't know if that's supposed to be some future tech or what have you. I mean, it's entirely possible that this Terminator will just smuggle some stuff through. I mean, it has happened in, I think, Sarah Connor Chronicles. He also stomps on people's nuts, which is a bit odd. I don't know why he does that. When he's in his Terminator mode though, he seems to just no-cell attacks and be very limited in his moveset, so I guess it's very much like the Devourer bug mini body thing. His Fatal Blow is interesting, it's alright I guess, but I do think it's interesting that when he says "get over here," he actually sounds more like Arnold than he does normally. I don't know, hopefully there'll be more lines that sound like that rather than what we see in the existing intro. Then his fatality is sending someone forward in time to get killed by Terminators, which as far as I know is not a thing outside of Genesis and Terminator 3 The Redemption, and I kind of want Terminator 3 The Redemption HD. Can that happen please? That game was the shit. And then we see what the costumes we're going to be getting this time are, and kind of bad, to be honest. First is the set of 3, which is Johnny in a tuxedo, I guess because it's a movie tie-in, sure. Sonya in what I'm pretty sure is supposed to be what Sarah Connor was in T2. It looks alright. I guess it's like the best we could have honestly expected as far as extra costumes that come with this pack go, because then we get Kano as Cyborg from DC. I mean, what the fuck else is he supposed to be? Unless this is some preview of some additional Terminator that's going to be in the movie, some big super ultimate Terminator that is alleged to be better than the T-1000 and the TX. And let's look at this, and I think this is dumb. I just don't understand why, and especially considering the fact that Kano and Sonya got costumes with the last pack. When Nightwolf came out, they got costumes there too. This is an issue that comes up with NetherRealm. The characters that are going to get the most costumes are the ones that are the most popular. It happens with others too, but I feel like other fighting games are generally better spread out. You know, Street Fighter is a clear bias towards, say, Chun-Li, but that's mainly because that one artist really likes Chun-Li. And DOA kind of prioritizes the girls a bit, but by and large those series will try and give an even spread of costumes. You know, DOA will usually have costume packs that apply to everyone on the roster, and I think NetherRealm should do that. If they're going to plan out the entire DLC roster before the game even comes out, they should go into it looking at what costumes they could give to each character and try and give a costume to everyone. I mean, it's kind of sad when you think about the fact that none of the 3 new characters from MK11 have new costumes. Not counting Combat League recolors, even though Garrus as this weird automaton would have been a pretty good choice for the Terminator pack. You know, if they were distributing it more evenly, they could have had Cabal get an MK3 skin, so we'd actually have a fucking decent one in the game, and have that be there in place of Sonya, and then Sonya could get this one, because, let's be honest, if you're going to put in one costume for a character to go along with Terminator, it was probably going to be a goddamn Linda Hamilton skin for Sonya Blade. I would rather they actually have Linda Hamilton do the voice and the face, then we'd have a Sonya Blade that's not utterly infuriating, but, you know, what can you do? Johnny could have easily had a Kyle Reese costume. That would have been sick. Kano, I feel, would have been better just getting a normal Terminator skin. Maybe Johnny too, just like give him the leather jackets and give Kano a new eye that's got a more fucked up face to show more of the Terminator's skull underneath. Or just give him an eye that looks like the one he had in Legacy, which was basically just Terminator anyway. I mean, more so than any other metal eye Kano's ever had, that one was just Terminator. And if you think those are bad, then you see the extra one that's coming out, which is Cassie Quinn, a Harley Quinn skin for Cassie Cage. Let's just put aside whether or not that's a skin that makes sense for Cassie. This is setting a precedent already that characters can just have costumes of other characters now, or at least inspired by them. You know, we could have had any of these characters getting a straight up Terminator inspired skin, not just Robot Man, Movie Man, and then this one for Sonya Blade. Like, the other characters could have also had stuff like this. But does anyone else find it weird that this Harley Quinn skin isn't releasing alongside Joker? The only reason I can think of as to why that is that all the skins are going to release there are going to be the Injustice skins for Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Raiden. And then there'll be another skin that's based on another character. Maybe like Green Lantern for Johnny Cage or something like that. But it's just weird that Joker isn't releasing alongside his own movie. Presumably the company that owns Terminator said, well, we want to have the Terminator character released to coincide with the movie. And that means that Joker can't come out the same month to coincide with his movie. Thus is pushed back to the end of January, which is about a week or 2 before the release of the Birds of Prey movie, which features Harley Quinn as the main character. So why not release the costume then for better synergy? You know? I just don't get it. What the fuck is up with this approach to marketing? Why would you release the Harley Quinn costume not with the Joker, a character whom Harley Quinn entirely revolves around, and to coincide with a movie starring that fucking character, and bringing it out 2 packs ahead with the Terminator stuff? I just don't get it. I really don't understand it. NetherRealm just baffles me, they really do. Now, as for the subject of whether or not this costume fits Cassie, I kind of get it because of Cassie's personality. She makes a lot of jokes in her intros. You know, she's a very jokey character outside of story mode, and that kind of fits the way Harley Quinn is. But at the same time, it just feels a bit off. I feel like if you're going to give a DC costume to any character, it probably should have been Johnny. You know, go with the logic that this is what Johnny wears when he gets one of the DC movie roles. Hopefully, we'll at least get Johnny Cage as Batman to go along with Joker. Maybe that's what the extra Season Pass exclusive costume will be. Johnny Cage as Batman to go along with the Joker and Harley Quinn. As for whether or not I'm excited about Terminator, I don't know, honestly. I was excited to see what the character would look and play and sound like, but now I'm just completely lost. I have no idea how I actually feel about it. It looks somewhat generic in terms of playstyle, a bit too much like Jax for my liking, but maybe when I actually get my hands on him, he'll feel completely different. Hopefully he will, because I hate playing as Jax. He's just not fun to play as. Hopefully Terminator won't be too much like, you know, Stryker or Aaron Black, too much of a focus on the guns. And while that would make sense with Terminator, I just hope that doesn't happen. Real shame that we didn't get Stryker in this game, because if we had Stryker in the game, he could have had a T-1000 skin, and then it just replaces replaces every single intro line he has with, "Have you seen this boy?" Oh, that'd be sick. Hopefully Terminator will play well. I don't have high hopes for his intros or his ending. Hopefully we can at least expect a Terminator 1 and 2 skin, and then I don't know what the fourth one would be, because the DLC characters only get the 4. Maybe it'll be a future Resistance fighter costume, or maybe just T2 but without the jacket. I mean, we know NetherRealm can be quite lazy with the costumes. Oh god, I can't not talk about this. There are also leaks because, again, NetherRealm fucking up with their updates. There was temporarily the option to view some of the upcoming Combat League skins that are going to be coming out, where there are 4 characters getting black ones, Kotal Khan, Devora, Collector, and Garrus, and they all look like shit. Well, Garrus looks alright, Kotal kind of looks too much like ones he's already got. The other 2 characters look like they've been literally rolling around in garbage. As someone in my Discord pointed out, garbage rolling around in garbage. And the others are Revenant recolors for Johnny, Cassie, Jax, and Sonya. It's just the default costumes, but they are Revenants now, which is kind of lazy. I would have really liked it if, instead of just doing that, if we actually got proper costumes. What if Johnny, Cassie, and Sonya had died at some point and become Revenants? What would their new outfits look like? That would have been really cool. But alas, no, it's not to be. I could say one positive thing about this though. At least they're releasing Terminator on my birthday and not the Ruination of Sindel. I appreciate that. Though it does make me think, presumably the reason they're releasing Terminator the day they are is because the 8th of October is Mortal Kombat's birthday. The first game came out on the 8th of October 1992. So wouldn't it have made more sense to release some classic-based content, like the classic ninjas and Shang Tsung? Release those now on the anniversary of the series? Again, it's probably a demand of whoever owns Terminator saying we want this out to coincide with our movie. Hopefully these incoherent ramblings will mean something to someone. Maybe you've been entertained by this. I'm sure most of the comments will just be, well, you just don't like good things, or you just don't like Mortal Kombat because you're biased. You know how it is.